The former and hopefully future WBO cruiserweight champion himself, Enzo. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, lads.
Enzo, what did you make of that fight? Captain Huck, is he somebody you'd fancy?
Yeah, definitely. He weren't up against much. He knew from the start, like everyone said, what was going to happen. And the basic thing I noticed that he didn't do much for the entire round. He just threw two 10-second bursts, and while he was throwing them, he was very wild.
Now, Enzo, let's leave Captain Huck, mate, because you're never sure when the phone line's going to die. And let's get straight to what you're going to do. Now, I thought on Thursday I got information it was going to be Jonathan Banks and you. Looks like it's not going to be you and Jonathan Banks. It looks like it's going to be you and someone else. Any information on that?
To be honest, I know they've mentioned Victor Ramirez. He's the one who knocked out Alexander Alexei, the new German hope, last week. So I don't really know too much about him, but I just hope he's not as tough as our last RGA box, Dominguez.
Yeah, but, so are you thinking it's going to be what, March 14?
I think so. I think that's the date, and as soon as after the last fight, I got straight back in the gym, nice and fit, nice and strong, and I'm ready to go again. Because
that was an interim WBO title when he beat Alexiev, who of course you were scared of fighting. Everyone was scared of fighting Alexiev.
Well, he was the next great German fighter, and Ramirez just took him apart in 9 rounds.
Now, what about if you couldn't get a title fight, Enz? Would you track down like a Pac-Man and take care of guys like Huck?
Yeah, you know me, Steve. I don't really care who I fight. I just want to be in the ring. I'm always training. I'm always fit. I'm always strong. I just want to get in the ring and I just want to fight. But hopefully, it will be for the title. But it doesn't really matter to me who's in the opposite corner for me from now on.
Have you given up on Jonathan Banks, Enz?
Pretty much. It doesn't look like he really wants it. I think he's taking a fight with Adamek. I'm assuming he probably took less money because he was having a good split of the purse. So, I don't look like he really wants it.
You need a big one though, don't you, Enzo? Because last time out, all due respect, it was a bit too easy for you.
Yeah, but it's like I said, that's the way I was going to fight from whoever was in the other corner. I had a lot of pent-up frustration. I've been out of the ring a long time. I probably had like a 10-month training camp for that fight. I was just looking forward to take out some anger in someone, and unfortunately for Matthew Ellis, it was him. And all the trouble that went in that week. I just wanted to stay focused. I had the opportunity to pull out and just go home, and I just wanted to fight. And I just want big fights from now on. I get a lot of slating on some of the internet sites, as Buncey probably knows. But
you know what? No one gets as much slating as Buncey, Enzo.
Big fights, and I just want to take all them belts.
Now, Enz, you talked there about a 10-month training camp, and you talked about your attitude and your mind going into the Matthew Ellis fight, and full credit to Matthew Ellis for stepping in and trying to have a go. Now, the thing that worries me, and you and I talked about this before, is that, can you get too angry? Can you wait too long? Can you go off the boil, Enzo, waiting for this big fight?
No, I'm not going off a boil. I'm training. I got other things that I do, and I spend a lot of time with the family. But most important to me is get back in this ring. I just want to fight. And I've just got a lot of frustration in me. Like with Ellis, some people may say I went out wild, but I targeted the body and I stuck to my game plan. And that's what I'm going to be from now on. Hands up, chin down, and I'm going to throw bombs from start to finish.
You know what, Enzo? The more I think about Captain Huck and you, if they can't make that fight with Ramirez and they can't make it with Banks or Adamek or Jones or Fragomeni or any of them, to be honest with you, because I've got to be honest with you, they can all get a decent living without risking getting knocked spark out by you. But Captain Huck, he's clearly no genius, this boy. I think that's a fight that could be made. You'd love that, wouldn't you? Germany, about 20,000 people.
Oh, fantastic! I think his sort of style suits me down to the ground. Wild swings on the side, I come straight through the centre. He leaves his body very open, and it'll be exciting while it lasts.
Enzo, one last question before we let you get away, and we do appreciate your time. Last weekend, big UFC event in Dublin, I think UFC 93, cracking event. The buzz around there, though, a lot of people again talking about Enzo Mac. Would you be stepping into the octagon? Is that something that's still possibly on the agenda for later this year, a couple of years down the line?
No, I think people put 2 and 2 together. She'd be talking to Dana White at the show in Birmingham, and it's something I'm a big fan of. I watch all the shows. I do event a couple of jiu-jitsu competitions, and I do the training. It's something I'd like to do. I got no fear what man is facing me in what sport. I just love to fight, and but boxing is my number one sport. And that's what I'm concentrating on at the minute. But I'll never rule that one out.
Listen, I have to admit, Enz, that I talked to Dana White as well, and people keep thinking I'm going to be getting in that octagon. That's not going to happen either, big boy.
I don't think you make the weight. They got a weight limit for that, Steve.
Enzo, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you back in the ring again.
Ta-ra, lads.
See you later, Enz.
Cheers, Enzo. Bunsey, come on, you octagon, you'd be great. You kept them down on the mat.
I love
rest of the moves, they'd never get up.
It's not that easy. You know Julius Francis, you know, the former British champion who
knocked out by Tyson.
Well, he went into not the UFC, one of the other mixed martial arts organisations inside the octagon. Of course, he's got the punching skills, and he just didn't have the ground game, as they call it, and it was really sad. I think they dropped his contract after one fight. He got stopped. But in fact, he sort of retired himself, which doesn't really happen. I no disrespect Julius, but that's the awful reality of it. But listen, Enzo Mac needs a fight. He needs a fight, Andy. It's a long wait. I understand what he's saying there, that he can keep his head right. He won't get involved. But he needs a world title fight. And it's not through a lack of trying. You know, Frank Warren has told me, or told, our show, the Thursday show, probably 2 or 3 times in the last 7 months, that the fight's done and dusted. The posters are made. The printers, the programs have been printed. He has had that Jonathan Banks fight, okay? It has been there. Then replacement opponents have come in. Other opponents have said no to it. Enzo, it's just, boxers can have bad luck. Enzo's had about 5 months of bad luck. It has to change.
Indeed.